Okay, we can start now. See, in the first half, we just got the firewall up, and also we did some network address translation for one network 1.0, and also we did, you know, access list configuration, right? We allowed all the traffic. Right? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to undo the security policy. Right? Let me go and click on this. Let's go to the security policy, and that one's policy which was allowing all the traffic, right? See, by default, we have this cleanup rule. A cleanup rule is nothing but the last line, which will be last line, and usually the traffic will be denied. It's like basically a denial, a kind of a traffic line that we have in checkpoint. In Cisco, we have denial, that implicit denial. In checkpoint, we have the cleanup rule, right? Let's go and install the policy. Right, I'm just clearing the accept rule, and now it's going to deny. Right, let's check if the packet is now getting denied or not. So now after the installation is completed, right, when you try to reach internet, so this firewall will block the traffic because the default action is denied. Okay, so from here we'll continue. Right, already the network address translation has been done, guys. So since I created 1.0/info object, and I also allowed, I asked this firewall to network address translate via this particular IP address. So it will automatically do the network address translation. Okay, so network address translation is already there. Now we have to just create some rules. Okay. So see, if you have any doubt on how to create network address translation, I can do it one more time. So let me go to the objects and first delete the object that I created. Okay, so I'm just clicking on this object and object explorer, right? You can see all the objects. So there are so many objects, guys. Network object, host object, service objects and all. Let me click on network objects. So we have default, we have 18 network objects, which is by default created by checkpoint itself. 18 will be there, and the 19th one is something that I created, which is this guy. Right. Okay, let us go and delete this. You can delete this. I'll create it one more time. Now you guys can check how did I do this. Okay, so we cleared it. So let me install the policy again. Right, so we just undid all everything that we did after the gateway has been added. Okay, so I ended the network address translation. I just removed the cleanup rule, the allow rule. So I made as deny rule. Okay, so now let's go and do this again. I'm gonna do first. Let's go and create zones. Right, I just did everything, undid everything. No network address translation, no security policies. So we'll do the zones first. So let us create the zones. And then after that, we'll permit traffic between the zones, and also we can create network address translation there. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the, I think everything is done. So we don't have any network address translation rule over there. Okay, let's go and create some zones, guys. So I'm gonna click on Chennai Gateway, which is basically the firewall. And I'm gonna click on the Chennai Gateway. I'm gonna go to the network management. So when you click on network management, you are not seeing anything right now, but once you create, you'll be able to see the zones. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get interface without topology with topology. The only difference is without topology, with topology, if you see, you'll be able to see, I'll show you what the difference. I'm just going to click on get interface with topology. I click get interface with topology, and I'm just accepting it. And now this is the only difference, guys. So if you say get interface without topology, the firewall will not identify which is the outside network, right? So can you see, right, this is the outside network, this is external, right? So can you see this is the inside network 1.0 and 2.0, this is the outside network. And how did the firewall identify that that is the outside network? Is because of the default route. So we did default route, and we pointed where? We pointed to the next hop IP address of 200.1.1. Since the next hop IP address is 200.1, this obviously will be an external network, and that is what the firewall identified. So the only difference is with if you take get interface with topology, you will find this external. If you get interface without topology, you will not find that. That's the only difference. Apart from that, both are same only. Okay, I'm going to click on this this network, which means I'm going to click on ETH0, the inside network, and I'm going to go to the advanced. Sorry, I'm going to go to the modify here. So in general, you can go to modify, and there you can create a zone, guys. Can you see? Specify the zone. Let's click on. You can select the default zones which is already created, or I can click on new and I can put my own zone. Right, I'm going to say inside zone. Right, I'm going to have it as inside zone. So we created a zone called inside zone, and I'm adding it over here. Let's go and click OK. Right, and can you see the security zone is inside right now? And let's go to the interface once E1. Let's go to modify, specify the zone. And I'm going to create new zone. This time I'm going to call it as DMZ. Okay. So here we have modified, and this should be external, right? This should be the outside zone. So specify the zone. I'm just going to give a name called outside. See, you can use a name that checkpoint has got. Instead of outside, checkpoint called as external zone. Instead of inside, they call it as internal zone, and they call it as DMZ zone. You can choose a zone that is already created, or you can create your own name. It's all about names, right? I'm just creating a zone with the name outside. Already there is a default zone that is available, which is called as internal zone. Those guys are already there. Right? I'm creating an outside zone. If you want, you can choose this also. Right? Can you see external zone? You can just map it, or you can, if you want, because since we are, we are practiced with the inside outside in the Palo Alto. I just want to go with the same names. So outside, let me give OK. Okay, so we have outside. So this is inside. This is inside. This is DMZ. This is outside. Okay, let's go and give OK here. Now we created zones. Okay, so this is how you can create zones. You can click on the checkpoint gateway. You can go to the network management. You can click on checkpoint gateway, network management, get interface with topology, and then you can create the zones over there. Okay, so the next thing is you can go to the security policy. So in security policy, there is a cleanup rule, but let us add a rule above that. Okay, new rule created here, but we have to name it here. So I'm just going to click on the space. I can give the name here. So the name is going to be, I'll have it as, so first of all, we'll do this, right? First of all, we can create a rule with management access. So who can manage the firewall? Management access. Okay, management access, and the source is going to be what? And I'm not going to put any zone here. Instead, what I would like to do is I would like to create a specific host here. Right? I'm going to create a specific host, which means who can have access to the firewall. For example, right? Let's say if someone wanted to make a ping, or if someone want to make an SSH to the firewall, who can do it? Only the management, only the admin, right? Who's admin? Admin is this guy. So 1.2. So sorry, 1.3. So yes, so let's go and create a management rule. Let's go and give, instead of having this any, I'm going to go and add a new host here. So new host, we'll call it as smart console, because that's a name. Smart console and the network management, sorry, smart console and just the IP address. So 192.168.1.3. Right, so we are creating a new object with the name smart console. It's a host object, right? Just one IP address. Okay, see, you will understand. Just listen to me. So you have a smart console object, and what is the destination base? The destination is, we have the destination is Chennai gateway, right? So I'm just gonna chgw. Okay, so Chennai gateway. I'm just gonna click on this. Okay, so smart console from the source smart console 1.3 to the destination 1.1, right? And also you can uncheck this VPN. VPN, we'll talk about that later. Okay, what services allowed, right? You can say services like ping. You can type ping, or maybe I think here it should be ICMP. ICMP. Okay. So ICMP. So you can say ICMP. Can you see this ICMP request, or you can type as echo request, echo reply. So instead of having it as ping, we have it as echo request, echo reply. Or you can just add ICMP protocol. All the ICMP protocols will be added. Echo request, echo reply, destination unreachability, TL expired, everything will be included over there. Okay, let's add this ICMP protocol. And also I'm just going to add what else? I'm just going to add SSH. Right? So sometimes if you want to make an SSH, we can also do SSH over here. And the action is accept, right? Okay, so this is a track, guys. So what is basically track is, if you want to know who the monitoring part, the logging part is what tracking is. So if you want to track it, you can enable. I'm just going to enable. I'm just going to say, right, if any packet matches on rule number 1, I want the packet to be allowed, accept, and logs should be generated. Right? Okay. And we'll create one more rule, which is the next rule after this management access. It's always a good practice to create a deny rule after the management rule. So let's go and create a new rule below. And I forgot the name actually. Every time I forget this name. So there is a name, right? Usually after the management access, there'll be a rule, and they'll give a separate name for that particular rule. I forgot what that name is. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me give some name. Okay, so yes, I forgot the name. It will be a good name, but I forgot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give deny. I'm just going to say deny MGMT access. Okay, so yes, what we'll do is anyone, right? So this is actually a good practice case. First rule is allowing management access, which is ping and SSH is allowed to the server, right? So the gateway is the destination. And also if someone else is accessing the same, you can even copy paste it. You can just click on Control C, you can go below Control V, right? You can copy paste. So if anyone else is accessing the Chennai gateway, let it be any protocol, right? They are actually denied and the login should be happening. Right. So I created two rules. One rule is allow management access to the firewall. The other rule is deny access. So in the allow management access, we just told only the smart console should ping or SSH to the firewall, no one else. If anyone else is doing it, they will match on the second line and that will be logged as well. Right. Let's go and see this. I want to install the policy. Let's try to ping from the smart console device from the management PC. Okay. So yes, so now once the installation is done, we have the smart console PC here, right? We'll take this guy and I'm gonna ping 192.168.1. Initially it won't respond, right? By default it won't respond, but here it's gonna respond. So let's ping 1.1. Okay, now 1 point is responding because of the rule number 1. Right? So can we go and check it, guys? Can we go and see which rule matched on line number no, which rule matched on this ping packet? Okay, so we pinged 1.1. So there's an ICMP protocol that just went to the firewall. Okay, let's go and filter. So what I can do is I can go and click on the rule, right? I can click on the rule and I can go and click on the logs. Okay, when I select here, I'll be able to find all the packets or the logs that is matching on rule number 1. Okay. So searching for the logs, just give me a few seconds. So 1.3 was trying to ping to 1.1. And can you see, guys, there is a result you got. So I don't know, there is a time difference, I understand. So there's a time difference, but actually at this particular time, right, this should be 5:30 plus should be added over here. So 1.3 was trying to reach whom? Was trying to reach the Chennai gateway. 1.1, the service what? ICMP, right? And which line matches? Access rule number 1, right? And what is the action? The action is green. Can you see this? Accept. Okay. So let's go and now I can even SSH, guys. I can even SSH. Let me search for putty application. Right? And just SSH to the same firewall. It should also work 192.1.1. SSH open. Right? It's asking for this. So just give S and username admin, password admin 123. Okay, so I'm into the Chennai gateway. Right? So SSH also is working. Now let's go and refresh this logs to see the SSH traffic over here. Okay, can you see? SH recently, the first was ping and the SH is the next packet, right? Both packets matched on rule number 1 and they are permitted. Okay, now what we'll do is, right, we'll go and start this Linux mission, right, which is 1.4. So if this guy is trying to ping or SH, he should not get the response and also the message will be logged. Okay, let's go and see that. Okay, I'm going to click on the Linux mission. SH 192.168.1.4, the IP address 255.2.0. Gateway 192.168.1.1. 888 is a DNS server. That's okay. So let's go and ping 192.168.1.1. No, the firewall is not responding to this ping because it's coming from 1.4. When you try to SSH, right, 192.168.1.1, it won't work either because the packets are denied because of the rule number 2. Right now, when I select on rule number 2, And if I go to the logs, you can see there was echo request coming from 1.4 going to 1.1, and SH was coming from 1.4 going to 1.1, and they are denied. So this red color circle, that says it's denied. So you can see the rules this way, guys. You can see the logs this way by selecting the rule. If you want to see all the logs, right, irrespective of selecting the rules, if you want to see the logs completely, like how we saw in the Palo Alto, you can go to this logs and monitors. And there you'll be able to see all the logs, right? So anyone, right? Can you see now there is a permit traffic came from 1.3, came from 1.3 has been allowed, right? Coming from 1.5 has been denied. Now you see all the logs here. Okay, so yes, now let's go and so we just had a management access. We got the management access. Now let's go and check the internet access. Obviously, the rules has been rule is denied because there is no rule from inside to outside. The rule is basically, when you try to ping, right? When you try to ping from 1.3, so which line the packet will match? The packet will match on line number 3, because first and 2 lines, they are destination for gateway, right? If you're going to the internet, then there is no match on the first 2 lines. So third line will match, and what will be the action? The action will be dropping, right? Okay, let's go and fix that, right? I'm going to go and create a new rule. And this time I'm going to say any traffic coming from inside zone, because we created the zone already, right? Going to the outside zone, right? And they are allowed to go. So let's go and create it. I'm going to create a new rule after the management access rule. Let's go and create a new rule below. And this is rule number 3. And this is the rule is going to be inside 2. Okay, let me go and check on this. Okay. So inside 2, outside, right? And you can have the source as inside zone. Okay, so can you search for, if you search for inside, you'll be able to see the zone. And what is the destination? The destination is going to be outside, right? Outside. So any traffic coming from inside going to outside, and the services, let it be any, right? You can even restrict the services, guys. I'll restrict services in a few minutes, but right now we'll have it as any. And I'm just going to say accept. Okay, let's go, and maybe we don't have to log this traffic, because if you try to log this traffic, you'll be getting so many logs here, right? So we don't want to log the rule number 3. Let's go and install the policy. Okay, and sorry, before this, we have to also create the network address translation, right? I'll just go and create the network address translation one more time. So the same thing, I deleted the object earlier, and now I'm going to create the object again. So this time we're going to create a network object. See, we have 2 things. One is host object, which just refers to only to one IP address. Host object, network object to a network, right? Let me go and create a network object, new network, and I'm going to give the name inside network, or we'll have it as Chennai inside network. Okay, so we'll have the network address is 192.168.1.0, 255.255.2.0, and then network address translation, create a rule automatically in the translation table, and high NAT is what the dynamic NAT is, right? And you can just go and select the gateway to be installed as Chennai gateway. Okay. Network address translation rule created, access rule created, default route is already there. So by installing this policy, we should be able to have the traffic flowing from inside to outside. Okay, so once installation is done, guys, we should be able to access from this PC. We should be able to access the internet. Okay, let's check that. Okay, let's go to command prompt. Ping 888888. NAT is done. So yes, that's working perfect. So yes, guys. Now let's go and check this. Right, let's go and start these web servers. Right, again, the concept is same, right? Inside to DMZ, we don't have any rule. So these guys cannot reach the DMZ zone, but let us go and assign IP address first and then create a rule for them. SHF SH 192.168.1. Sorry. This guy is going to be 2.2, right? So 2.2 is IP address 255.2.0, 192.168, 2.1, 8.8.8.8. Okay, so yes, and we'll also assign IP address to this SH server too. SHIF SH 192.168.2.2, 255.2.0, 192.168. 2.1, 8.8.8. Okay, good. Oh my God, I think, okay, so I just gave 2.2 twice. It should be 2.0. Yes, good. Let's go and assign again 192.168, 2.3, 258.2.0, 192.168, 2.1, Okay, so did I do it correctly? Yes, I think yes. Let's go and check the IP address ifconfig. Okay, so this guy is 2.3 and the other person is 2.2. So let's check the web server. ifconfig 2.2. Okay, yes. So we should be able to. No, we should not be able to reach right now from inside to DMZ. But once we create a rule, we should be able to reach. Right. Let me go to the inside PC, which is the Windows 7 machine. Let's type the IP address 2.2. 192.168.2.2. So it's not reachable because of the reason that no, we don't have a rule for that. Let's go and create a rule, guys. Go and create a rule. So after this, you can create a rule, new rule below, and it's going to be inside to DMZ, and this is going to be inside, right? We can copy paste it. So Control C, Control V, we got inside, and I'm just going to type DMZ here. DMZ. Okay, so DMZ. And instead of allowing all the traffic, we can do what we can do is we can allow only HTTP traffic. So only HTTP and then HTTPS. I'm just going to allow only these two traffic. So HTTP and HTTPS is what I'm going to allow, and the action is permit, right? And you have to log it. Okay, so this rule will allow traffic, but only HTTP and HTTPS traffic will be allowed. If you're trying to ping or SSH, it won't be allowed. Right? Okay, we don't want our inside users to SSH to the DMZ server. So let's install this policy. Okay. Okay, now so we should be able to reach these web servers from this Windows machine. We should be able to reach this web server 2.2, but ping should not work, right? Okay, let's wait for the policy to get done. Okay, so let's type 2.2, refresh. Okay, yes, now we can reach the DMZ server, but now when you try to ping 2.2, it won't work. Right? And which line 2.2 is matching on? This ping request is matching on which line? This ping request is matching on line number 5, right? Because none of the lines are matching the ping request coming from inside to DMZ. So if none of the lines is matching, then which line will match? Line number 5 will be matching, and the action will be dropped. Okay. So yes, so since the logging is not enabled, guys, we are not able to see the logs here. But if the logs is enabled, you can see the logs for that too. Okay, so yes, so right now what has been done? So we created a rule from inside to outside, inside DMZ. Right, so we'll create a rule for DMZ outside because these guys they need internet access, right? Okay, at the same time, right, since these are the servers, right, we want them to have a static IP because from internet also these guys will be reached. So instead of doing a network address translation like how we did for 1.0, we did a hide NAT, right? What is hide NAT? A normal dynamic network address translation. We don't want that to happen because anyway, right, these cases, if you do dynamic network address translation, they'll take this IP and they'll go to internet. But if someone is trying to access them, they cannot reach, right? So definitely we have to do static out. Sorry, I mean, definitely we have to configure static NAT. So we have to configure static NAT, static network address translation. And so if you do static network address translation, any traffic that is coming from 2.2, if it goes outside, it'll take the 17 IP address, right? When it in someone from outside is hitting this IP address, it will go to 2.2. Okay, so the same thing, right? So SSH server will be mapped with the public IP 200.1.1.IP. Okay, let's go and create the network address translation and then the rule. Okay, so let's go and create the host object here. I'm going to create a new host. Everything is an object here, guys. Now you have to create an object, and then only you can do some network address translations here. So I'm going to create a network address translation for this 2.2 server, which is a web server. So let's have it as ch web server. 192.168.2.2, and then NAT. Okay, a hide NAT, we have to configure static NAT. And what is the transfer IP address? Sorry, the transfer IP address is 200.1.1.17. It installed on the gateway, Chennai gateway. See, what is this all? We'll talk about that later, guys. Once you have multiple gateways, you'll understand the point of having all here. Okay. So we did network translation. 2.2 is the IP address, and he has been translated to 200.17. And okay, so let's go and create one more host object. So new host. Inside, sorry, this should be sh server. Okay, let's go and give the IP address 192.168.2.3, and the translated IP address is going to be 200. So dynamic, not dynamic, we have to create static. So static, and IP address will be 200.1.18, and the gateway should be Chennai gateway. Okay. So yes, so we have two objects already created, and the network address translation is also configured behind the scenes. Okay, so we have to create a security policy for it, right? Let's go and create a new rule after 5. So new rule below, this is going to be for DMZ to outside. So if DMZ servers want to reach internet, they need, right? So DMZ to outside. So we'll have this as DMZ. And we'll have this as any, sorry, we'll have this as outside. Outside, and DMZ to outside, and the service and application, maybe you can have any for this, not a problem, because we're going to have only servers on the DMZ zone, right? So servers will reach internet can for any reason, so let them have any service, and the action is accept, right? And we don't want to log it as well. Okay, so let's go and commit this. So once the installation is over, we should be able to reach from 2.2. I should be able to reach internet. When I go to internet, I'm going to take this public AP, go to internet. And when I go from here, I'm going to take this public AP and go to internet. Let's see that. Okay, so it's almost done. So we can go and take one of the DMZ servers. So ping 88888. So security policy is there, network address translation is also there. So yes, so it is working good. So now DMZ servers can reach internet. The only thing that is left is what? Outside to DMZ, right? Because we always have this traffic to be flow. So we have outside to DMZ, and maybe we can have HTTP service for this particular server, and we can have SH service for this particular server, right? So only these two servers are allowed with respect to that particular IP address. So internet user can SSH to this server, and they can HTTP to this server, right? Not any other protocols are allowed. So let's go and create it. Okay. So I'm going to create a new rule. Network address translation is already there, right? So we don't have to create a network address translation. There is a static net, so new rule below. And I'm going to go and create a new rule with the name outside to DMZ. Okay, so here we have outside any user from internet trying to access, right? See here, I'm not going to give the DMZ. I'm not going to give DMZ. So if I give DMZ, it points to both servers, right? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and say ch web server. Okay, I'm just going to put this. So I'm going to add this. And also we can even just change the name saying that outside to web server or outside to ch web server. Okay, so we have the name called outside to ch web server, and outside, anyone from outside trying to reach the ch web server, the service allowed is only HTTP. All the servers are denied. HTTP is only allowed, and then you can have the action accept. Right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy paste this rule. You can even copy paste a complete rule, guys. You can just click on copy and paste it, or you can even give right Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. Yes, there is a new rule with the same content, and I'm just going to make it as instead of having it as web, I'm just going to have it as SSH. Okay, so here we'll just remove this guy, and we can add SH server, CH SSH. So we have CSSH server, and the allowed protocol is not HTTP. This time we're going to allow SSH. So you can allow SSH version 2 alone, or you can allow both versions, SSH version 1 and version 2. I'm allowing both and accept, and everything is good. Okay, let's see when we can even log, because we want to know which internet user is accessing the service. So we have a log message here. Okay, I think we created totally 8 rules. Install policy. Okay, I think the commit is almost done. Let's go and start these two devices, right? I'm going to start the router, outside router, and internet user. So from here, let me check to reach web servers on this IP, which is the public IP is .17, and for 2.0 the public IP is .18, right? Let's take this internet user and check him. Okay, so we have this guy. Let's go and first ping. Ping should not be reachable. 200.17. Oh, I think there is. Please wait. Okay, I think still this router is booting, right? So there is a DHCP issue. Okay, we'll wait for this router to boot, be ready, and then this guy, we can start him after that. Because DHCP issue will happen. Yeah, so the router is ready now. So we can start this internet user now, anytime now. Okay, we'll start him so the DHCP works properly. Okay, so we have ping 200.1.17. So it's trying to ping but not reachable. When you try to access like links, HTTPS links is a command line browser links. We know this, right? So 200.17, if I try to access, then it says yes, we have reached the DMZ web server. Okay, now let me go and ping, or maybe I can SSH to the same. Let's say SSH to this guy. Right, I'm just gonna go and take SSH access to this guy. Let's see what happens when I try to SSH to that same web server. So it won't respond. So don't respond because of the firewall blocking it. So when you try to SSH to the 18, it should work. Okay, you see it's asking whether you want to trust this device. Yes. And asking for the password now. The password is root. Okay, there you go. So now you are inside the 2.3 device, right? If you give ifconfig, you are on 2. Which means you are on the SSH session. Okay, when you exit, you come back to the normal PC session. Okay, so yes, guys, that's right. Very, very simple. We understood how the architecture of checkpoint basically works, and also not to create rules and checkpoints. No, it's easy like a Palo Alto. You can, but you need to do it on the Smart Console application. Okay, any doubts, guys, so far? Okay, so then you guys can do the lab. And we can discuss about further next generation features of checkpoint. For example, URL filtering, HTTPS inspection, those things we can discuss in the coming week. Okay. So then I'll end the meeting here for everyone. See you guys in the next class.